Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Elias Rodriguez, Colorado prospect who just won his fight on LFA 186. Hello, Elias. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Elias, in your last fight, it was actually your pro debut. You fought against really tough opponent, and you not only beat him, but you also submit him in the second round. So, if you can tell me, how do you feel after pro debut and the performance as good as it was?
Yeah, I feel cool. It was good. I wasn't too happy with how I did that fight, for a number of reasons. Some technical, some more mental. But as far as it being my pro debut, thinking back, it being on LFA and stuff like that, it's definitely cool to think about. And now I can say I'm a pro fighter. But honestly, it was just another fight to me. I forgot I was getting paid in the back. They were like, "Do you want your check?" And I was like, "Check for what?" And they were like, "Didn't you just?" I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, I get a check, cool." So yeah, that was cool.
And actually, he is also a very good prospect. He was 2-0 as the pro. He also has some wins on the amateur scene. So actually, it was a little bit like prospect against prospect.
Yeah, definitely. Two prospects going against each other. It was a good fight. It was a fun fight.
And do you have more fights on your LFA contract, or was it like one fight deal?
It was a one fight deal, that one. I'm sure I will fight for them again. I think they like me. Um, Even if they didn't. I mean, it was only my first fight, so before I get to anywhere, super spectacular like UFC or something like that, I'd have to get a lot more fights. So I figured I'll probably fight for them again.
I think that promotion should want you back because it was a good performance, and I think that LFA is the like great promotion for like younger fighters, just to win against another solid competition and then go to the UFC, because probably it is your goal.
Definitely, yeah, that's 100% my goal.
And when you are thinking about your next fight, do you have any, maybe not name but style in mind that you would like to face?
A style, not really. Honestly, I kind of like just getting fights and fighting. I think it's important to fight different styles. So I guess this guy was more of a brawler. I fought wrestlers before. I fought like tall, lanky strikers at 45. So I feel like I'm pretty ready for any style they drop my way. There's none that really scares me. I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable in every category, knowledgeable enough for the amount of competition I'm going to have right now, for the level of competition I'll have.
And how was it to have a Cory Sandhagen in your corner?
Yeah. Well, honestly, to me now, it's normal because he's my coach. But if I detach myself from that and look at it like abstractly, it's pretty freaking awesome, man. I'm not gonna lie. I have one of the best minds in the sport. He's a fantastic corner. I mean, everything he said that fight was exactly what I needed to hear. I told him that. I gave him praises after. So, it's really cool to have him.
I actually love to listen podcasts with Cory, because he's such a smart guy. He has a lot of knowledge about MMA, not only MMA. So when I see any podcast with Sandhagen, I always like, this is the first choice when I listen to podcasts.
Oh yeah, you have to. He always. I mean, he's a thoughtful guy, so he's always thinking of new ways to strike or new ways to look at life, or reading some book that. I mean, I have a bookshelf right over here actually, and all those books he's given to me, except for one. But I mean, he's super smart, man. You have to listen. You have to. Everybody does.
And when I watched your amateur bouts, it was actually also very impressive, because your first fight, it was a decision, and then you finished 4 opponents in the first round. And one fighter, it's Caleb Woodside, who is like also a very good prospect. He's like 7-1, something like this as the amateur. So I think that it was super impressive win for you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad he's doing well.
Uh, And also, when I was watching your fight, I saw that sometimes you fought as the featherweight. I believe that you won a fight. You become a featherweight champion in one promotion, but also you had a catchweight title. I saw this on Topology 150. I'm not sure if this is correct.
No, so I had two 45 titles for Sparta and Colorado Combat Club.
Okay, about the yes, Colorado Combat, because I believe that I saw that one. It is 150. And do you think that featherweight is like the best weight class for you right now?
I can't say for certain. It's definitely the easiest weight to make, but I would like to fight at 35. Again, I haven't fought at 35. I haven't made 35 in a while, mostly because it was kind of hard to get fights at 135. It's a lot easier to get them at 145. So I want to fight at 35 again, but again, it's still early in my career. So if I have a couple fights at 45 and I go down to 35, I don't think that would make much of a difference.
And when did you think about becoming MMA fighter? What was the time? How many years did you train before this idea?
So I started jiu-jitsu pretty young. I was 7 when I started, mostly for self-defense. I was a real small kid, super tiny, so I got bullied a lot, which is fine. So I started then. I didn't ever think I was going to be a fighter. I think myself, like my younger self, my 12-year-old, 13-year-old self, if I told him I was a fighter right now, he would look at me crazy. So I don't really know what happened. I think I just was training, and that was the only thing I'm good at. I'm Dominican, so I'm supposed to play baseball, and I'm very bad at baseball. And I'm also very bad at basketball. So this was kind of the only thing that I had left, was fighting. And that was the thing I was good at. So I just kind of stuck to it, kept doing competitions and all that, and kept winning. And I was like, well, I might as well see how far this can take me. And now I actually enjoy it. But I would say when I was younger, I definitely didn't. It was more of a chore.
And was your first training gym was high altitude martial arts, right?
My first jiu-jitsu gym was Fusion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a Rickson Gracie gym. And then I went to American Top Team, and then I settled at high altitude when I was about 15.
So
that's where I met Cory.
So you were like looking for the right gym at that point, or you just move around just because, I don't know, maybe some family stuff or something like this?
Well, it was funny because I would stop going to the gym for wrestling, and then I'd go back and they had closed down. So then I went to a new gym, and then I stopped going for wrestling, and I went back and they closed down. So then I went to high altitude. They were the only ones that stayed open after wrestling season. All the other ones closed down for some reason.
So maybe it's like the destiny to be there.
yeah, it's fate at that point, right?
And do you have a sparring partners, training partners, that the fighters like you, young guys who are maybe not super known right now, but that they have this kind of great potential that they can be in the UFC or any other big organization?
Yeah, I have a few sparring partners that are like that. Connor Owens, he's actually fighting for the Sparta title at 145. He's taking my belt from me, fighting some other guy. He's a great training partner. He's a really good striker. Owen Schultz, Luis Guerrero is about to make his MMA debut. Those are more the amateur guys. And then, of course, we have pros that have been around the game for a while. Matt Jones, Taiwan Claxton, people like that. The other names are usually, I'm pretty sure they're in the UFC.
Yes, but the guys that you mentioned are definitely like known fighters, especially when you are into the like regional scene, like Fury FC, like Bellator is not a local scene, but it's also a quite big organization. So it's definitely a good sparring partners. And for now, when you have a few years of experience being a MMA fighter, what is for you the like your favorite part of the training?
Favorite part of training is striking. I personally love striking. It's so fun. I would love to get super good at striking. I just want to get super good at striking, and grappling, of course. But I want to like really be a good striker. Like that. That's all I'll say. I want to be a great striker.
And do you would you think about going for let's say one bout to boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, something like this? Any like additional bout?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely be open to it. I did before I went pro. I had a Muay Thai fight just because I didn't know if I was going to get to do one of those again. Those are fun. So I did that. I would definitely be open to it. I want to right now focus on my career as a MMA fighter because that's where the attention is, where the money is. Personally, what I'm good at. I mean, I started grappling when I was a kid, so I have that too. But striking to me is just so fun. It's super fun. So I just love doing it.
So what is the part that you really don't like, the least favorite part?
Cutting weight. That's the worst part, man. It's horrible.
It's probably for the people who are not fighting. This is like they don't know, they don't realize how tough this is. And for fighters, when they are dealing few times a year, this is probably like really the toughest part, and for your body, for your mind, and it can be also a dangerous thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think the closer you get to the fight, because I personally do visualization and stuff before the fight, so I get those emotions cleared out of my head, so I don't have them in the back. But the closer you get, it gets really hard to like visualize yourself doing something so hard like that, especially when you're 15 pounds lighter than you're supposed to be and you're eating freaking peanuts out of the pantry, and that's all you can have that day. So it's definitely the toughest part about fighting. I would say hands down, it's not fun at all.
And when you are a few hours to the fight, do you also use a visualization to let's say see what's gonna happen in the fight?
A few hours before?
Yes.
I never have. I'm sure Cory has, and maybe I don't know. I haven't asked him. That's a good question. I haven't. Usually, it's the weeks leading up to get those emotions. On the day of, it's the day of. So I've already walked myself through everything that's going to happen that day, whether it's good or bad. Like, the tape lady doesn't have the tape, and I'm about to fight. Instead of being like, oh, this isn't going my way, like I already envisioned that happening, so it's fine. I'm gonna go out and fight anyway. So I try not to overthink it on fight day, just because there's no point in doing that. Like it's the day of your wedding that day. Like you just gotta get married.
And do you like to listen some music to be let's say zone out, or you prefer to be like in the like this war state, let's say?
I listen to music to do both. So to kind of stay in that state, but also to relax and zone out, just feel good. Usually, if in my opinion, and I'm still young, I don't know, Cory might disagree with me, but if you do it right, your visualization and everything, and when you're nervous and all that, you listening to music or you going for a walk or whatever you eat that day, whatever you do, it doesn't really matter. If your mind is really prepared to go in there and fight, then you just have music. You're just trying to kill time at that point. You're not really, like, in my opinion, you're not trying to do anything to make you more ready. You should already be ready, so you're just trying to kill time until it's time to go in there and fight, right?
And after the fight, let's say this fight you won it in the second round. So after the fight, do you have a chance to watch other fights, or you just go to the back room and then go home?
After this fight, I watched the other fights and drank a lot of alcohol.
So it can be helpful after the weeks of training camp.
Yeah, for sure. Good for your mind.
And are you overall a MMA fan? Let's say that this is a Saturday night, there is a big UFC, or maybe not big, but a UFC fight night, and you like to watch the fights?
I do like to watch fights. I sometimes I'll just put them on just for background noise. But if it's like a big card, like Pereira fighting Yuri Prohaska, I'm definitely gonna sit down and watch that. So it kind of depends on the fighter a little bit. I like to be entertained. As far as fights go, I don't know if you've seen Rough and Rowdy, but it's just hillbillies fighting each other, and I watch that all the time. So I just like to be entertained when it comes to fighting.
Of course, Cory will be fighting against Umar Nurmagomedov, and I probably know who you think will win this fight. But maybe Sean O'Malley against Merab. Who do you think will win? Because it's probably the Cory, when he win his fights, it will be next fight for the world championship.
Yeah. Sean's gonna win that fight. I'm pretty confident Sean's gonna win that fight. I think Merab is too. I mean, he's a great wrestler, and he's got a crazy pace, but he puts himself out of position so much as far as striking goes that I think Sean is just too much of a sniper for him. You know, like you can't out chaos Sean in that way because he doesn't know why he's doing things sometimes as far as striking goes, in my opinion. So I think Sean is gonna knock him out first or second round.
It was definitely a confident pick from
Yeah.
you. And
Yeah.
Max Holloway against Ilya Topuria, because it will be also a really big fight.
That's a great fight. Max fought fantastic against Justin. I didn't think he was. I mean, that was like the best I've ever seen him. So if that Max goes in to fight Ilya, I think it would be a really hard fight. But I also think that Ilya is a smart fighter, and he has fantastic grappling. So if I think, I mean, Ilya has a bit of an ego. They might make it like a I'm a better striker than you fight and play that game. But if Ilya decides he's getting outstruck and he takes Max down, I think for sure he could beat Max and stay the champion.
Yes, but for sure it will be great fight, especially after last performance against Justin, and of course Ilya defeated Volkanovski, what is like also a really big thing. So I think that the fight will be super big and super entertaining. And getting back to you. Do you see your like road to the UFC to fight for the LFA a few times and then go to the UFC, or do you think that there will be other promotion in between, maybe Bellator if it will exist, maybe PFL, maybe one?
Personally, I want to go to the UFC. I want to do well in the UFC. I don't just want to get to the UFC because I think that's kind of a stupid goal. Because you get there and you do bad and you lose, and what nobody remembers, you know. So that's just my opinion. I don't really care how I get there. I would like if it was LFA, cool. If it's LFA and then I fight for Sparta and then I fight in some other promotion in some other state, and eventually I get the call, then that's fine. But nothing else really interests me except for UFC. Of course, you know, when I cross that bridge and I start, if I get a call from one or Bellator or PFL or whatever, and it's appealing to me, then yeah, you will cross that bridge when we get there. But as of right now, me being 1-0, I would like to go to the UFC.
And when you are thinking about your probably near future, what would be the best timeline to go to the UFC? Like 2-3 years, something around this?
Well, I certainly think I need to get much better first. I think if I fight one more time this year and 4 times next year, I would be 6-0. And I think that that's knocking on the door to the UFC. I think it just depends on first me doing my job and winning, and second, what Cory thinks about, you know, me getting there. If I get the call maybe sooner than we expect, then we won't go in. But I certainly think a timeline of 2 years is super feasible. Like that could definitely happen.
Probably also your style will help you because you are definitely a finisher. You always are looking for the finish, and I think that UFC really likes this kind of fighters. That the fighters want to put exciting show, that they want to finish your opponent. So probably in your next bouts, of course, you probably also will be fighting against also a very good like prospects, or maybe not prospects, but also a better kind of guys. But you still probably will go for the finish.
Yeah, oh, for sure. The finish is there. I'm taking it 100%. I don't care if I'm down 3 rounds. It's the last 10 seconds. I'm trying to find it somehow, some way, you know. You don't get paid by the round.
and this is kind of style that can make you a lot of money in the UFC because of the bonuses.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that'd be that's a great like that's a great thing. I forget the word. I'm sorry. It's blanking my head right now, but that's like just a consequence of doing your job, you know. I personally I like fighting. Fighting is fun to me. Camps kind of suck, but fighting is fun. I really like fighting. If you do good at fighting and you're entertaining, then you get paid more money, and that's appealing, you know. So why wouldn't you want to get finishes?
Yes, yes, definitely. And right now, of course, you have a chance to train with Cory Sandhagen, and also you saw your progress from the beginnings to the point that you are right now. And because of these two reasons, how big your potential is as the MMA fighter, in your opinion, that you can be like a UFC champion, maybe UFC contender, fighter in the rankings?
Yeah, I think I could. I could. I mean, I could be a UFC champion for sure. I think definitely I could be. That depends on a lot of things. It depends. That has a lot of variables. That's also very far in the future. But I think I 100% could do it. I think it would be very hard. But I have a great corner. I have a great team. I have a great support system around me, and a lot of people rooting for me. And I think that's great. But at the end of the day, it's my job to make the right decisions at the right time. Of course, I have my team to help me do that. Of course, I have Cory to help me do that. But Cory's not fighting for me; I'm fighting. So I got to make the right decisions in the fights. I have to make the right decisions during camp. I have to eat the right foods. I have to make my lifestyle, um, build that around what I'm trying to accomplish. And if all that goes to plan and God willing, if it's in his will, then I would be champion one day. But one step at a time.
And also the like divisions like bantamweight, featherweight, lightweight, they are always super exciting, but there are really like deep. There are a lot of great fighters. So definitely you will be challenged, whether you will be fighting in the featherweight division or like any other division. You are at this kind of weight classes that definitely you will be fighting top level guys soon.
Yeah, for sure. Those weight classes are packed with people. That's why I said I have to get much better.
And outside of fighting, do you have any like hobby or passion, but outside of MMA, the thing that you can be focused on besides MMA?
hobbies that hobbies that I can like. You saying like a plan B if fighting doesn't go well?
No, hobby that you like to do in your free time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, things I like to do in my free time is go fishing, smoke cigars, go camping. I'm a bit outdoorsy, so I like things like that. Read books, watch stupid TV shows sometimes, and also I like working. I like doing stuff. I like making money. Starting a business or two, or being a little entrepreneur. I think that's honestly probably the most satisfactory, or that brings me the most satisfaction is making money in like kind of a weird way. That's not just a 9 to 5 job. That's probably why fighting is also so appealing, because it's engaging. I like things that are engaging. I get bored kind of easily, so fighting's really engaging. Doing something yourself that you don't know what the hell you're doing and making some type of profit off of it is super engaging to me. So, yeah, I suppose that's also a hobby.
I think that it is a great mindset, and actually, I think that in the fighters that retired or are close to being retired, there are two groups. One, fighters that after they are done, they are seeking something around MMA, like maybe BKFC, maybe some boxing, about something like this. And there are people who have like 1 million other ideas, how to create something, how to do something, how to be like creative person. So I think that that is definitely advantage for the second group, that you are not that you have other ideas in mind,
Yeah,
even after your career is done. So it will be in many years, of course.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I still have some time, but you can't put all your eggs in one basket.
And I have also a few questions outside of MMA. If you can learn one skill, but outside of the sport, what kind of skill would you like to learn and know?
I want to know how to fly a plane. Yeah, I think it's so cool. I think it'd be so cool to know how to fly like a plane and a helicopter, and just fly myself places. I don't know why, but that's always been a skill. I think I'm going to learn it one day when I have money and I'm bored and I'm done with fighting. I think I'm gonna learn how to fly a plane, because that's like probably one of the most freeing feelings in the world. It's just in the air. That's awesome.
Yes, yes, that definitely is like you can be free and you are like a bird,
Yeah,
something like
exactly.
this. So it's kind of crazy. And do you have like goals, but also outside of MMA that you would like to accomplish in maybe 1, maybe 2 years?
In 1 or 2 years outside of MMA, yeah, I want to have a profitable business. It doesn't have to be super profitable, but it has to be, rolling. The snowball needs to be rolling. So I would like for that to be a reality in the next few years.
Okay, Elias, so many thanks for the conversation. To be honest, I'm really excited about your future because of the fights that I have chance to saw, and of course your like LFA debut. And I think that in maybe 2 years we can see you in the UFC because your potential is like really high.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.